look back at the best of the action from round 7.
Look at that, too wide. Oh, and into the wall. Colin White. Oh, and a huge, huge accident. The number 28 car, Michael Burgess, and roll and roll and roll goes Burgess. Oli Playle takes advantage though to get down the inside of John Mickle, takes the race lead. The 88 car comes out of turn 4 for the final time, takes the checkered flag.
So Stevie Hodgson still leads the championship thanks to his second place in round 7, and John Mickle's points for third place pushes him up to 4th. But the big story is Oli Playle, who puts himself right in amongst the front runners after that maiden win, jumping from 11th.
At the beginning of the season we weren't really thinking about the championship. We're still not, because we've got Stevie. Stevie's good, Stevie's doing well. John Stewart's still there. So all we're thinking about is just finishing races, getting more points, and then next year we'll have a big go at the championship.
Michael, unfortunately you're not joining us for race 8, are you?
No, unfortunately we had a slight accident in race 7, and the car is slightly unrepairable.
Right, but your good self, you're all right. You've repaired yourself.
I am fine, and if there was another car I'd be in it.
And you also have said that that's it for your championship. It's over.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, you missed 2 races. The first weekend wasn't great. Races 5 and 6 weren't great. So, yeah, it's pretty much over.
Colin, I gather despite picking up some bruising from that horrific accident in round 7, you were prepared to race round 8.
Yeah, it's important for me to try and maintain in the championship, to be a serious contender for the rest of the season. I need to be out in the car for that next race. And I've asked the officials, they've decided, it's not in the rule book, so you could go and do it, but they're asking me not to do it, because otherwise it'll set a precedent. It means that anybody with more cars or more money could actually win a series.
Gentlemen, please start your engines. Javine, I've got to say that was brilliant.
Thank you. I didn't really rehearse it. It just came out like that.
How would you fancy a go in one of these?
I'd love to get in one of them. Maybe not behind the wheel, but I'd love to get in one of them just to feel how it is.
Javine, thanks very much. And if you want to join us at the next Days of Thunder event when Mystique are our special guest, stay tuned. I'll be giving you details of a competition at the end of the show. Right, the guys are ready to race. Let's get up in the commentary box.
Well, there is our circuit. 1.5 mile banked oval as always, and the 7 degrees of banking means approaching a 150 mile an hour average lap speed.
Let's take you through a look at the grid. There is row 1, Oli Playle and Stevie Hodgson.
Followed by John Mickle and Anthony Swan.
Ian McKellar Jr. and Chris Cook on row 3.
Then it's Steve Dance, rookie of course, and Sean Richardson.
Yeah, back on row 5, Ben Collins and John Stewart.
Ahead of Peter Faulding and Rob Speake.
And behind them, Mark Proctor and Malcolm Klein line up on 7.
Mike Luck and Duncan Gray, 2 more rookies on row 8.
While towards the back of the grid, it's Tony King, the Shark, and John Higgins with Skid Carrera making up the rest of the field as the pit lane is open for the pace car.
And there we see the onboard cameras. Tony King down at the tail end of the pack in the number 17. Stevie Hodgson in the Monopoly car at the front of the grid. And alongside him, of course, pole position man, Oli Playle.
Nice that we can see Ollie in the rearview mirror there as well, Steve. So can the youngster Oli Playle get off the line, or will the master and the current championship leader Stevie Hodgson head them as they head towards turn 1? We are green for round 8.
And it's wheel to wheel through turn 1. Oli Playle in the 88 car though drops a little bit of momentum, but don't forget 60 laps to go. Anthony Swan looking aggressive for third place, but it's Stevie Hodgson in the Monopoly car, heads the Reebok and Liberty X 88 car. Anthony Swan sitting there looking very, very comfortable in third as Ian McKellar Jr. takes 4.
And not a great start there by John Mickle, who's been climbing his way up the championship table, but he's dropped back to 5th place. His teammate Ian McKellar Jr. in the DSI Group number 25 car picking up that 4th spot, Steve.
Well, that's absolutely right. And look at Oli Playle. Don't forget, that's the end of just 1 lap out of 60. There's an awful long way to go. And the one thing I think Oli Playle has learned this season with the West-Tec team, you don't try and win the race on the first lap. Here he goes. Carries the speed through turn 1 into turn 2, goes down low, and his spotter will be telling him he's got Hodgson on his outside. He can't go all the way up the banking. So can Stevie Hodgson now get back on him on the run out of turn 3 up to turn 4? But this is where you say Oli Playle has the advantage, and just look at Anthony Swan going with him.
Absolutely right, and also behind Anthony Swan is under pressure from Ian McKellar Jr. as we look out the front window of Stevie Hodgson's Monopoly car, the 24 car, and side by side, double wide the teammates, and Anthony Swan will lose the position.
Oh, and Skid Carrera has got heavy front end damage. That has wiped the nose off the car.
Oh, we've got yellows out, mate. Yellows are out. Yellows are out.
Very late call there. I think the yellows were very late out as well there. It looks like Duncan Gray's been involved in there. That's the stationary car now. What's the problem here with Oli Playle? He's running slowly as well.
Oli Playle has got huge damage on the front end of the race-leading 88 car. Well, there you can see very worried faces up and down the pit lane. Oli Playle is limping. Two cars are wrecked out on the track. The safety car is slowing, but look at the damage on the 88.
But the red flags are out, which means that the cars will be brought down pit lane and we'll get a restart. This is in real time, this replay, and watch the leaders as they come through. You'll see them fire into the back of the picture here. Just there goes Oli Playle, hits the wall. Stevie Hodgson's backed off, and bang at the back there, Chris Cook in the Learn Direct car really takes a hard hit. But you can see exactly what happened. Everybody driving through that carnage, and this is on board with Oli Playle.
Well, don't forget, this is the race leader. There he hits the debris. That pitches him into the wall at well over 150 miles an hour. He will be furious, I am sure, at missing out on the race.
Alistair, can you just tell us why red flag and not yellow?
Yeah, if you carry on running around on a yellow flag, obviously you're going to burn race laps up, which isn't ideal. And there's a lot of debris out the back of the track. We had reports from a couple of the drivers. There's a big wide oil slick and a lot of bits of fiberglass knocking around like this one. That's not ideal. So, you know, we like to keep all that stuff off the track so we avoid future incidents, that's all.
That's the reason why the cars are now rolling back out of pit lane for a brand new race. It will be a 40-lap race, we're being told, Steve.
That's right, and a good call by the organisers here to actually stop the race and restart it, because otherwise it would have taken a long time under yellow flags to clear up all the debris, the fluid and the oil off the track.
Well, obviously one man who's now sitting out the rest of the race is Oli Playle. What we've managed to do is we've managed to get the tape of your onboard camera. So I'm going to play the tape and I'd like you to talk us through.
We're in turn 1 at the moment, and all of a sudden we're coming up to turn 2. Flat out still, no sign of yellow flags, and the first glimpse is now, and I have to avoid him, hit some debris and clatter the wall. So the yellow flags I don't think were called early enough, and that's the reason we're sitting here.
You can understand Ollie's absolute dire frustration at that situation. He did have a very quick car indeed.
Ian McKellar Jr. is at the front of the order. A little bit of shaking up going on as the cars now roll in. It's going to be a single file race start this time. We get the green flag for Ian McKellar Jr. across the start-finish line. It's Anthony Swan who moves first. They're trying to get down the inside of Stevie Hodgson. John Mickle is there in 4th. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Talk Speed team.
However, he's under severe pressure there. John Mickle is from Ben Collins, manages to just hold off that challenge. Sean Richardson in the Darkness car is also there in 6th place and looks set to try and have a good run, but the championship leader now tries to think about taking over the lead of the race too.
Oh, and a mistake there for Anthony Swan. Goes high, has to back right off, maybe kissed the wall there in the 23 car, and that is principally just lost momentum. He had to come right off the throttle pedal, and that's lost him a stack of places.
Just shows you, Steve, doesn't it? We've talked about that momentum thing here in Data Thunder races. As there's the top 6 as they come through. Peter Foley having a good run through there in the 33 car in 6th place, but can Stevie Hodgson do something about Ian McKellar Jr.?
Stevie Hodgson is right up under the tail of Ian McKellar Jr.'s car now, and you can't get much closer than that at 170 miles an hour, either to the wall or the car in front.
It's brilliant stuff between these two, and don't kid yourself, they are working furiously hard in there to try and be smooth, maintain the advantage and maintain that smooth racing line. That's the important thing, and of course all relied on by the spotter too.
Well, that is what you call a quick call there by Stevie Hodgson's spotter, because that is John Stewart, the 75 Virgin Experiences car, in the wall and parked on the racing line down at turn 4. Safety cars out on track and the cars slow behind.
Keep it low through 4, Stevie, keep it low.
Well, again, there instructions to Stevie Hodgson to keep the car low, out of any debris between the wall and the 75 car. And there he is, obeying the spotter's instructions.
Well, unfortunately, John Stewart has just hit the wall, and the race is now under yellow flag conditions, but the guys are coming in for a pit stop in a couple of laps' time. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, all the pit stop action from race 8. Days of Thunder, where the race is still under yellow flag conditions. This means hold your place, no overtaking. But of course, the guys are just about to come in for a pit stop, where it's still very much race on. If you're out first, you stay there for the restart.
Well, pit lane is now open. It's a delayed pit lane because of that incident at turn 4, but now they will come in. The 3 men will go over the wall, 2 with air guns and tyres to put on the outside of each of these cars, and a jackman who'll get the car up and hopefully get it down safely so they can all get away. So it's about a 15 to 18 second change we're looking for.
Well, don't forget they were all behind the safety car as they came in, so they all are coming in at once. It really is now down to a battle between the pit crews. Are we going to see one of those amazing 13-second pit stops from John Mickle's crews again? Let's have a look. Stevie Hodgson at the moment and Ben Collins are the 2 men first to be stationary. And Collins' pit stop is slow. Hodgson's is not. Mickle 15.1, Hodgson 15.2. Ian McKellar Jr. a 17.1 second pit stop. And Ian McKellar Jr. is now effectively losing position on the track to Stevie Hodgson as a result of the sheer pace of Hodgson's pit crew.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff from Stevie's team. Mickle's number 66 team are normally the quickest, along with Oli Playle's crew, have really come on that West-Tec team. And Oli Playle, a reminder for you, sadly out of this race after an incident earlier on which caused a red flag and a restart. But here's what happens with John Stewart.
Well, you know, I don't think that was contact. He was trying to get a run down the inside of Anthony Swan. The car literally just getting onto a tighter radius than it could manage at that speed.
Now, someone else who knows what it's like to hit that turn 4 wall is John Mickle, and Helen spoke to him earlier.
This is the notorious turn 4. I have never been as close to this wall as I am now, but someone who has is John Mickle. John, thanks for joining us. You have been mighty close to this wall, haven't you?
I've been more than mighty close. On 2 or 3 occasions now, I think I've been in it, through it and through the other side of it.
We keep trying to explain to the viewers of how it must feel driving at 170, 180 miles an hour inches away from this wall. How do you describe it?
To do a quick lap, we have to try to blank it out of our minds, because if you like anything else, if you look at anything or turn your eyes to anything, you end up hitting it, because that's what you're focusing on. And the biggest problem we have is when the accidents I've had, when I've hit the wall fairly hard, because you've hit it and it shakes every bone in your body, the next time you come on the track, you have a phobia about that bend. And that is why it takes, I reckon, a good race or a good couple of races to get back in the swing of things.
Heading round to the start-finish line, safety car pulling in. We're looking for the green flags to start racing again this lap.
And they go green, green, green. Look at that, great start from Mark Proctor as well, but he has to tuck back in. Anthony Swan will try and make it double wide with Ben Collins, but in so doing is going to be passed around the outside by the darkness shadow himself, Sean Richardson.
Well, the darkness band supporting that car literally with huge enthusiasm, but at the moment it's Sean Richardson still trying to find his way around the outside of Anthony Swan, one of the new talents that came through last season really in Days of Thunder Racing, and is really in very, very determined form, as befits a driver at his home track. And I think that is so important for Anthony Swan to win in front of some of his home fans. Meanwhile, it's the DSI car, gets the move on Monopoly, this time down at turn 1. John Mickle trying to follow Ian McKellar Jr. down the inside. Can Stevie Hodgson close the door, though? It's going to be very close. And another spinner, this time at turn 4. I think he's kept it off the wall.
How are you okay? Yes, I'm okay.
Well, there you hear it from Tony King, but everything is going to slow down again. Debris on the track there from the contact with the wall from the Tony King number 17 car. Well, let's have a look there. The HCML car there clipping the wall, spinning back down the inside. And another wild ride for the 17.
Yeah, disappointment there for Tony King. Let's ride on board with him then. Here we go into turn 4. You can see the smoke up ahead. That's what's thrown him, I think. Oh, it's Malcolm Klein's car. Stationary. It wasn't the wall at all. He's just gone straight into the back end of Malcolm Klein's car, and that will be a real shock.
Let's have a word with Tony King in pit lane.
It was one of those silly ones. Basically, I saw Malcolm go in front of me, and you've got to decide. You know, you're doing 135 mile an hour in the corner, and you decide to go low or go high, and I started to look low, and then he seemed to be coming low, so I went high and just came back, and we just caught couldn't do anything else. It was him or the wall, and he was a bit softer.
Good news that he's okay. That's the most important thing.
And likewise, Malcolm Klein's car appears to be okay as well, so another little intermission.
What a great seat!
Well, we take spectators from everywhere at Rockingham, don't we? And every seat in the house.
So we're ready to go green again, I think, after that hilarity. And here is Ian McKellar Jr. leading them forward.
Well, the other car I'm watching is the 42 Texaco car. Ben Collins going to be trying to make a move this time. He's got 3 Torque Speed Racing cars. John Mickle is the closest one at the moment. He's trying to go down the inside. Ben Collins trying to stay around the outside for 3rd place. Anthony Swan following through as well. And you know, this could work against him.
Inside, inside, inside.
Well, that is Ben Collins' spotter from Turn 4 Racing. Oh, and a huge, huge slide there from number 5, Rob Speake. Goes 3 wide into Turn 4. And Rob Speake somehow managed to hold on both to control and his track position.
What about that? Unbelievable stuff.
Sadly, it looks like race is over, though, for Peter Faulding into the pit lane, and that looks like a leisurely stop.
Now, we saw that incident on Turn 2. What on earth happened? We sent Helen to find out.
I had a rear tyre blowout, and I was making my way back to the pits real slowly, and I spun to a hole on the exit of Turn 1. I got the car safely down to the apron ready to restart, and out of the blue, the 77 car just whacked, just right in the side of me, took the front off the car completely. What's more concerning beyond that is that the whole field then came through on their next lap at full race speed. Nobody had slowed down, and it just felt terrifying inside the car. I tell you, I was sitting there just thinking, is anybody else going to hit me?
Well, you can imagine riding with Stevie Hodgson here just how fast a stationary car will appear and fill the windscreen on a Days of Thunder racing car. Well over 130 miles an hour, even at the slowest point on the circuit. Oh, and a little bit of a kiss there, I think, from John Mickle on the back of teammate Stevie Hodgson. Or was that Hodgson literally getting a wiggle on?
Yeah, looked like Stevie got a wiggle, didn't it? Coming out of the corner there, that's going to lose his momentum. He's held on, though. Mickle, can he take advantage? He'll drop to the low side. They'll go side by side, and surely Stevie Hodgson will have to give up that 2nd spot.
Stevie Hodgson dropping back a little bit. You know, I think he's maybe got rear tyre problems. Ben Collins is starting to catch him. Then we've got this fantastic 3-car battle with Speake, Swan, and of course the number 2 Darkness car, Sean Richardson, having another fantastic race. Look at Anthony Swan already starting to push. So indeed is Sean Richardson. What a fantastic 3-way scrap this is.
Yeah, and Richardson lost momentum. I think he just had to have a little roll off the throttle there, but he's back on it now. Dropped him into the clutches of Anthony Swan. This could all end in tears, Steve. I think we might be calling for the wrecking units if they carry on like this much longer. There's double wide in 4, and Speake, he holds the line.
Well, you know, these are 3 drivers who are absolutely at the peak of their form. We're going 3 wide again at Rockingham, and this really is what... You know, I keep saying it, this is what Bank Oval Race is all about. You can't close the door down. You've got to race side by side. It requires real courage. It's not just the man who's last on the brakes, first out of the corner.
No, exactly that. And still, Rob Speake, who was leading when he came out of Turn 4 last time, leading this group, is going to find himself dumped to the back of the trio. Is he by Anthony Swan? Because Swanee has the low line. He can't get on the throttle as quickly there, but he carried the momentum, I'm sure, down into Turn 4.
Well, that really is great battling at the moment. Now, looking at that, the number 2 car, Sean Richardson, starting to pull away a little bit from this battle. But, you know, Anthony Swan, I reckon, has got some handling problems with that car. If you watch it, it's pushing. The front end is not gripping as well as the back end. And he is literally just driving that car around the amount of grip that he can keep getting out of the front tyres. And by backing off a little bit like this occasionally, it means he can have a bit more grip to have a charge for a lap or so. That's why he's going up and down the leaderboard. Let's find out a bit more about him. Helen put him through the Q&A a bit earlier.
Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
Family or friends?
Friends. Oh, family.
T-shirt or tuxedo?
T-shirt.
Rain or shine?
Shine.
Blonde or brunette?
Brunette.
Beach or slopes?
Beach.
Film or book?
Film.
Cash or credit card?
Cash.
Sweet or savoury?
Sweet.
Boxers or pants?
Boxers.
Pounds or euro?
Pounds.
Petrol or diesel?
Petrol.
Half full, half empty?
Half full.
Nightclub or wine bar?
Nightclub.
Well, it really is a motor racing masterclass every time you come to a banked oval, but there is the chance. Anthony Swan takes the place. Meanwhile, last lap of the race, Ian McKellar Jr. leads. Who, though, is going to be second? It could be any one of these 3 drivers.
and the Talkspeed hearts will be in their mouths at the moment. Can Ben Collins ruin what would be a fantastic piece of history, but would be great for Talkspeed, but would be magnificent for Ben Collins if he could get back on the podium? Stevie Hodgson will not want to slip back into the clutches, because at the moment, Steve, we are heading for that piece of history.
Well, heading them to the piece of history, a 1, 2, 3 for the Talkspeed team. It's Ian McKellar Jr. comes up to the line to take the checkered flag. In second place, Talkspeed principal John Mickle takes it from Stevie Hodgson. And there is absolute delight on the pit wall. And, you know, the racing goes all the way down the order, all the way to the checker. And I'm sure Mark Proctor's going to be having a chat with Rob Speake about what we might just call some delaying tactics there on the way to the checkered flag.
I think you're absolutely right, Steve.
How are you feeling? That must be fantastic. A 1, 2, 3.
Drivers did a superb job to win the car's own, but I mean, it just goes to show that Talkspeed can always prepare such great cars, you know, and it's good for the sponsors and the crowds. It's just fantastic.
Well, Asa Barrow's every right to be proud. There's his three drivers, Ian McKellar Jr., John Mickle and Stevie Hodgson, 1, 2 and 3. Ahead of Ben Collins, Anthony Swan, Sean Richardson and Mark Proctor, promoted to 7th after the exclusion of Rob Speake.
You needed that.
That was good. You know, we struggled in qualifying. We struggled all week really, but we made a big decision for the last race, and it worked out. The car was absolutely brilliant.
And you're all teammates?
Yeah, all teammates. Yeah, it's brilliant. 1, 2, 3 for Talkspeed. What else can you wish for? It's brilliant.
Well, Stevie Hodgson then, with that 3rd place, maintains his lead in the championship over John Stewart, failing to score points this time. John Mickle takes 3rd, Ben Collins 4th. Mark Proctor, Colin White, Oli Playle and Sean Richardson complete the top 8.
4 rounds remaining, of course, Sunday the 5th of September and Sunday the 3rd of October.
Mystique will be our special guest at our next Days of Thunder event in September. If you would like a chance to see a great day's racing and meet the band, please answer this following question. Name Mystique's top 10 smash hit. Is it A, Scandalous, B, Outrageous, or C, Preposterous? Call the number on your screen. Lines are open now. Good luck. Well, what a race that was. We got there in the end. Well done to Ian McKellar Jr. Must be over the moon with that win after coming back from injury. Well, that's just about it from us trackside. We're all off to the Smash Hit stage to watch Trevine and Big Brothers perform. We'll see you next time on Days of Thunder.
Just a little song that we wrote for you, just for everything you are and everything that you do. We want to thank you. Yeah, we want to thank you.
BMX Dirt and Freestyle Motocross Hardcore Sport up next on 4.